Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Trouble and today I'm going to be continuing my review of the One Punch Man manga series. Picking up from where we left off last time, which was the Saitama introduction arc, going into the House of Evolution arc this time. Just a little recap of the Saitama introduction arc. So the Saitama introduction arc of the One Punch Man series is Saitama. Well, exactly what it sounds like. Us getting introduced to Saitama, us learning just he has overwhelming strength and he's bored and he's overwhelming strength is underwhelming. In the fourth chapter, we get a little bit of the introduction of the world, how it works, the evacuation. We even get um, a little bit of the scaling in in the series where monster scale where we get learn that he was like demon or dragon, that in the series. So it's basically an introduction to Saitama, introduction to the world, introduction to giving us the purpose of Saitama, that he's bored. And this arc is going to be dealing with the House of Evolution, going to be dealing with the House of Evolution and Dr. Genus sending his monster after Saitama. Saitama and Genos, and him meeting Genos and Mosquito Girl. But with all that introduction said, let us just jump right on into the video. So we open up and we see Saitama at his sink catching water in a pail to water his cactus. But yeah, water his cactus. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is what he's thinking right now. And what he's thinking is that so is that he's bored. He has no excitement in his life. Nothing excites him. No fights. No nothing. And he feels that he's becoming less human, basically. And he starts to see everyone around him as an insect. As an insect. But as he's saying that, the mosquito comes up and pitches on his arm. It lands on his arm, and he slaps it. But the mosquito escapes. So Saitama gets into this whole little bit with trying to kill the mosquito, and he can't. He even slapped himself in the face. But right after this, we get a small panel of the the introduction of the villain of this current chapter of the arc, to say, which is Mosquito Girl. But we come back to Saitama's apartment. We see Saitama is now watching the news, and we're getting a synopsis on the news of what's going on, and they're telling us that uh, everything seems to there's just massive swarm of mosquitoes. Entire cattle has been found dry, no blood, nothing, sucked dry, just bones. And they're telling everyone to stay inside, don't go outside because it's dangerous outside. But right as they're saying that, we cut away from Saitama watching it. We see this dude is taking advantage of the fact that everyone is staying inside to rob a place. He's like, I'm not staying inside for like, I'm not gonna stay inside for what? A mosquito. Who's afraid of a little mosquito bite? But right as he's saying that, a swarm of mosquito just comes and sucks him dry. They suck everything out. Like when he falls, it kills him instantly. His body, his spinal cord snaps. Yeah, they just suck everything out of him. Then again, and again we get to see the mosquito going back to Mosquito Girl, um, and giving her all the blood that they just sucked. And then she's like, "This is not nearly enough." Right as she's saying that, we see Genos comes up, and Genos is realizing that, oh, so you're controlling the mosquitoes, and then you send them out to suck blood, then you take all the blood for yourself. She immediately sends the mosquitoes after Genos, but Genos just incinerates them and it doesn't do anything because Genos is a cyborg, and he has wheels fire, so he just incinerates them, and he says, "I will eliminate you." And so Mosquito Girl dives in to attack Genos, and she takes off one of Genos's arm, and in return, Genos takes off both of her legs, and this panics her, and she's we get to see that she's kind of a bit of a coward. She likes to pick on the weak. She doesn't want to get into a fight with where she doesn't know the outcome. A little bit of dark shine. So she summons all of her mosquitoes. From I think it was within a 500-kilometer radius, and they give her all of the blood, which makes her ridiculously powerful. But before that happens, we see Saitama is at it again with with the mosquito, chasing after the mosquito. And Genos is like, "Hey, what are you doing? It's not dangerous. You should go." But right as he's talking to Saitama about this, um, Mosquito Girls just all of the mosquito from within the 500-kilometer radius just drops in on Genos, like it just dives, just dive bombs him, and Genos just eliminates. It's like this massive ass explosion, Um, and but it's fine because he says that he's already scanned it and there were no life sign, there were no life forms anywhere near here, so it's fine. No, but no humans died. But he then clicks into his head that, oh, Saitama was there. He just kills Saitama, but it turns out not. No, Saitama is fine. And as he's talking, he turns to like face his mosquito girl. Mosquito girl has just transformed into this new mosquito form, but she comes in, she swoops in, and then she just takes out his abdomen, and then she swoops in again and cuts him across the face, taking out his eye, and and then Geno's realizing that, oh shit, because she's done too much damage at this point, so he decides to self destruct. Right as he's about to self destruct, Saitama comes in and is like slaps Mosquito Girl so freaking hard it kills her. And then Genos is shocked by this because Genos is seeing this. He's like, "What the?" He's like, Genos is shocked. He's like, "Hey, let me be your disciple." And Saitama says yes and runs off. Probably wasn't really in the right mindset when he answered. But a couple days later, or a few days later, or a week, I don't really know. I don't really remember. But yeah, I don't really remember. Not I don't really know. But anyway, Geno shows up at Saitama's apartment, and so it's a little back and forth between them, where Saitama gives Geno something to drink, and they get into talking. Geno's like, "How did you get? What cyborg parts did you use to get so powerful?" Saitama's like, "I didn't use any cyborg parts," and Genos eventually gets to the point where he's telling Saitama, Saitama about his backstory and how he became. So Genos' backstory goes. So he was just a normal boy in a normal town, and then all of a sudden, um, a mad cyborg gorilla attacks and kills all of no, not mad cyborg gorilla, but Jesus Christ, a mad cyborg attacks and kills everyone in his. I'm thinking about his fight with armored gorilla. My bad. And kills all of his family. And then, if it wasn't for Kura Hashinogi, he would have died. And he asked Dr. Kira Hashinogi, who was a brilliant scientist, to turn him into a cyborg so he can go out and fight justice, and eventually take vengeance on the cyborg that killed his family. And so that's how Genos was born. But right after that, we see at the House of Evolution, we see Dr. Genius getting word that Mosquito Girl had died. So he sends out a kill team to go get Saitama because he's interested in Saitama. uh the and then right as and Saitama is continuing talking, Saitama accepts Genos as a student, as a disciple, because because he accepted, but he's telling Genos, hey, it's gonna be hard, because earlier he never really accepted him, so now he's finally, okay, you're gonna be my disciple and I'll teach you, but it's gonna be hard. As soon as he said that, Genos realizes, senses the presence of the kill team that the House of Evolution sent to come get Saitama, and he immediately just turns and runs out. And as he turns, one of the kill teams drops out of the ceiling, and Saitama kills it immediately. You destroyed my ceiling. And then Genos runs outside. He's like, hey, I'll take care of it. But by the time he gets outside, Saitama is already outside and knocked two of the other kill teams out. But right as he's saying that, I think it's like Ground Dragon or the Dragon Ground, I don't remember his name, pulls Saitama into the ground. And then we see Beast King walks up, and Genos gets attacked by Armored Gorilla. And then he's like, I'll eliminate you. And Genos and Armored Gorilla gets into a pretty intense fight duel. Is it a duel? No, it's not a duel. It would be more of a fight. Anyway, yeah, because a duel would basically be like two-person. It's like a challenge. This was a fight. It wasn't really a challenge. It's like a sport. A duel would be more sporting. But anyway, besides that, we see Beast King walks up, and Beast King starts to talk to Saitama. Saitama just gets up and just gets out of the ground, which puzzles Beast King. It's like, what the hell just happened? Um, and then Beast King starts to attack Saitama because Saitama just insulted him or something. And so the fight between Saitama and Beast King is on. So Beast King goes, he's attacking Saitama relentlessly, and Saitama just keeps dodging all of his attacks. Beast King's attacks are pretty powerful. Like he kills the two that Saitama knocked into the ground. Yeah, in just one slash he kills both of them. Um, but anyway, and then we see the fight. We switch back and forth between the fight of Armored Gorilla. Nevertheless, Beast can transform. He attacks Saitama, but Saitama just defeats him in one punch, in one normal punch. And Genos, and then he the groundhog or the ground dragon that pulled Saitama to the ground tries to escape. Saitama digs into the dirt, captures him with the face that would give you a heart attack and kill you. Go watch the anime. It's more terrifying in the anime actually. But yeah, but Genos eventually defeats Armored Gorilla, and then they start to interrogate him. Right after that, we get the background of the House of Evolution. And apparently, Dr. Genius was this brilliant scientist in bio. I think it's like the bioscientist, and created a lot of did a thing. He did a lot of things that helped advance science in the world of science. But then he started spewing stuff like forced evolution, and no one listened to him. Everyone thought he was crazy. Eventually, he learned how to manipulate genes. He made himself younger, and used his wealth, and then faked his own death and cloned himself and created the House of Evolution, and that was where it is. Genos asked Armored Gorilla if he knows anything about the cyborg. They said no. Uh, Armored Gorilla said no, and then Genos and Saitama runs off to the House of Evolution. But back at the House of Evolution, we see Doctor Genus is getting word of what happened with the Kill Team, uh, Beast King and Armored Gorilla and the like. Uh, and so he's like, that's impossible. Even Beast King died. Like, how is that even possible? And Doctor then Doctor Genius is like, we only have one option. We have to release Ashura Rhino, which is Carnage Kabuto. Um, but right after that, we cut back to Saitama and Genos, which is 4 hours after the events that took place at Saitama's house. And we see them running through the woods, and Genos asks Saitama, I thought you could fly. Saitama's like, no, people can fly. Genos says, you have a great sense of hero. You're a great hero. You have a great sense of justice, a great sense of morality. Saitama's like, I usually arrive too late. Actually, if you actually read the chapters earlier, you see when Garo killed Genos, you'll see that this moment, Saitama remembers this moment. So this moment comes back later in the manga. So they arrive at the building, and Genos, in just one go, just destroys the entire thing. And he's like, Saitama's like, shouldn't we give him a chance? You just killed all of them. But luckily, luckily, or I don't know if you want to consider this luckily or not, they were underground. So Saitama just opens the thing and they go underground. But before this, we see Dr. Kureno Ashinogi talking to Ashura Rhino and or Carnage Kabuto. And Dr. Genius is like, you're a failure. He thinks to himself, he doesn't say it outright. Carnage Kabuto just murdered a whole bunch of his clones, not clowns. And Dr. Hashinogi is basically saying, you want a good fight, go fight this dude. All I need is just that one drop of his blood. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, so Genos and Saitama is walking down a hallway, and as they're walking down the hallway, you just see the lights. The hole starts to burst. As Carnage Kabuto, it has Dr. Hashinogi in his head, and he's like, which one? Well, it's that one. Oh, so we don't need that. So we don't need the one on the right, I believe Genos was on, and said, and he just one shots him into the wall, turning Genos into the modern art. And he's like, hey, there's a room over there. You want to go over there and fight? Saitama's like, yeah. Saitama eventually agrees. So as they go into this massive room, this is where the people of the House of Evolution train, the subjects of the House of Evolution train and stuff like that. And there's a whole explanation. But as they're explaining and as they're about to fight, Genos comes and shoots Carnage Kabuto with a blast. And then he starts to fight Carnage Kabuto. Carnage Kabuto punches Genos into the ground so freaking hard that he literally bounces off the ground, off solid ground. He punches and he bounces off the ground. Oh God, that's such a fucked up sense of humor. And he bounces off the ground, and then he goes flying into Saitama's arm, I believe. And then he shoots again, and Carnage Kabuto blows the fire back at Genos. But after that, it's now Genos is now out of the fight because the fire just turned him into even a greater modern art, even better modern art, if you want to say. But Saitama and Carnage Kabuto starts to fight, and the Carnage Kabuto goes to attack Saitama, but he realized that if he had attacked Saitama, he would have died. So he just jumps back, which shocks Genus, because Genus is here watching, by the way. So this we get the scene where Carnage Kabuto asks, how did you get this strong? What did you do to get this strong? Saitama explains like, oh, 100 push-ups. We all know the 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and I think a 10 kilometer run every day. But eventually, everyone who was watching Dr. Genius is like, yeah, that's bullshit. That's like basic training. Are you crazy? You mean to tell me you got this strong from basic training alone? That's nonsense. And Genos, this pisses Genos is off. Anyone could do this. Genos is like, tell the truth, right? But Saitama is like, this is the truth. I don't know what else to tell you. This is all I did. Um, Carnage Kabuto is like, fine, if you don't want to tell me, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna destroy you anyway. And he turns into Carnage mode, Carnage Kabuto. He transforms, and then he just lays, and he says to Saitama that he's gonna be in this state for a week. He's just gonna go on a, once he kills you, I'm gonna go down, and I'm going to rampage until next Saturday. And this is like Saitama comes to a realization like, what the hell? While all the while Carnage Kabuto is just wailing on him. And actually, I really love Carnage Kabuto's Carnage mode Carnage Kabuto design, because it's one of the best monster designs ever. You look at it and it's just so fucking cool. I don't know why. I really like the design. Every time I read it, I always stop to look at it. But anyway, Carnage Kabuto is just destroying Saitama, and all of a sudden Saitama is like, wait, that's not true. Because earlier he had said that there was an important sale that he wanted to go to. And Dr. Genius is watching, is like, there's no hope, there's nothing, Master. And then Saitama is like, it's bargain day at the store, and he just one shots him because he realizes that he had mixed up the days. Today, I can't, because he had said earlier, I can't go tomorrow because tomorrow there's an important sale, but tomorrow was today. And Saitama is like, it's bargain day, I have to go. And then he one shots Carnage mode Carnage Kabuto, and he takes Genos and punches holes in the wall, and he and Genos leaves. And this leads to Dr. Genius saying, oh, I no longer want to be in that business of evolution anymore. It just kills his desire for evolution. And that's the House of Evolution arc, the One Punch Man. Pretty interesting arc, pretty fun arc. Really love it. Very entertaining, and yeah. So it it's Genos' introduction arc. It's always, I like Genos. Genos is one of my favorite characters, but Saitama introduction arc, and the House of Evolution arc. These aren't really my favorite arcs in One Punch Man. My favorite arcs in One Punch Man come later, but these arcs, they do a great job of introducing the world of One Punch Man, what the One Punch Man world is going to be about, what the One Punch Man story is going to be about, how does One Punch Man world work, and what's going on and all of that. So yeah, it's a great read. Would 100% recommend. I wouldn't like say skip it or anything like that. Yeah, but yeah, that's the House of Evolution. Tell me what you think about it down below. Tell me how you feel about it, or just comment, say hi, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next